Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday, and Scout's down here suddenly wanting attention. So if you see pause or I seem distracted, that's why. Right, Scouty? Right. Yeah, okay. So I don't think I've talked about the Apple versus Epic Games lawsuit. To me, it is a video game industry kaiju fight, right? It's Godzilla versus Mothra. Just them beating the crap out of each other. They have their own purposes for going to court. Apple wants to maintain its ability to charge a 30% markup on anything in its store, which as a private company, they have the right to set their prices, right? Epic Games, if I were to guess, is at this from a different perspective. I think the likelihood of Epic actually winning this suit is fairly low from a legal perspective. But in terms of the free publicity they're getting for its store, the lawsuit is probably going to pay for itself. Now, Epic has the money to burn. Fortnite makes gobs and gobs and gobs of money, something like $9 billion. So they can throw money at this stuff to do advertising through the press. And of course, the video game websites are happy to oblige. Kotaku is doing extensive ongoing coverage of the Apple versus Epic Games case. And it's all about nothing important. I guess they think these particular things will get clicks. Unfortunately for Kotaku, it shows a real lack of self-awareness. And really an inability to analyze this kind of stuff. And you got to be really careful. Yes, you'll get clicks for analyzing this stuff badly. But long term, let's face it, at this point, we all read Kotaku just as sort of, I don't know, kind of a joke scroll. What are they doing this week? Yep, Kotaku gonna Kotaku. We don't read it for insightful analysis or interesting news, and here's why. Okay, if you like this sort of analysis, help support this channel. Become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K. Okay, so here's the badly framed splash page for Apple versus Epic. See, Tim Sweeney's cut off. I apologize here. Let me fix it. Whoop! So you guys can see that. I want to go back to the camera. Talk about ineptitude, eh? Okay. Oh, I Canadian there. Hey! Let's go. Okay. So I'm gonna, here we go. And then I'll put it back. Okay, there we go. Apple versus Epic. And you'll see this scroll of a bunch of things happening. That's why I said, let me fix it. So there's a bunch of headlines that Kotaku thought were funny. Right? Because a major legal case that's going to determine pricing structure in video games for the foreseeable future is a great source of lulls. But you see they've got quite a few. Tim Sweeney asked if you could point at a PlayStation 5 in court. Here's what Epic paid to give away all those free games. Please enjoy Tim Sweeney's apologizing profusely to Ubisoft for fucking up. Scout just bit me. Epic spent $1 billion on PC exclusives. Epic paid $115 million for the Borderlands 3 exclusive. Fortnite made over $9 billion between 2018 and 2019, and so on and so forth. Okay, here's the thing. If you go to, say, Tim Sweeney, a video game billionaire, was asked in court if he could point at a PlayStation 5, and of course he could. Not only a PlayStation 5, but the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, the Nintendo Switch, and so on and so forth. And I mean, what does this prove? Well, I guess the Apple lawyers were trying to show that Tim Sweeney, did he or did he not know what he was talking about in terms of consoles and identifying them and essentially knowing what you're doing in the video game space. And he proved he did know what he was doing, which is maybe something Kotaku should take a note on based on claiming that, Commander Shepard was a white woman no matter what you did, and that Lady Dimitrescu was a playable character not so long ago. It also did here's what Epic paid to give away all those free games. Now, the take on this was that Epic Games was giving AAA games all this money, and indies were getting shafted. But the data they provide, and you probably can't read this very well because it's small. I can barely see it on my much bigger screen. But that's not what I get from this data. And you've got to be super careful because it's a, you got the name of the game, the publisher, you've got the buyout price, which ranges from like $1.5 million for Batman Arkham. I guess that's Arkham Asylum. There are multiple Arkham games. I'm not sure which one that is. And Subnautica's up there too, down to like nothing for Metro 2033 Redux. And like, $50,000 for Super Meat Boy and stuff like that. $45,000 for Rhyme. And Kotaku, in its infinite wisdom, who wrote this? Nathan Grayson? Yeah, Nathan Grayson. In his infinite wisdom says, oh, they're giving AAA companies so much money and indie titles squat. But then if you look at the UA cost, basically what it costs them per unit based on how much they paid and how many new Epic accounts they got out of that deal, AAA game companies are still losing money. The average full price AAA game makes a profit of about $3. And very few of these games actually crack $3. Stories Untold did, which is a Devolver Digital title. So Devolver Digital probably made more money off of that than they normally would. Enter the Gungeon, another Devolver Digital title, made $6.20 off of per unit, which is more than the $3. Rebel Galaxy almost made $3. Torchlight came close. Limbo made over $3. Moonlighter made $6.75. Inside and Celeste made $11 and $12 a pop because not many people were interested in these games. And then Lego Batman made $6.36, probably because everybody who wants to play Lego Batman has played it, has owned it. They're not going to use the Epic Store for that because, a lot of kids play that on console. But as you can see, there was really no rhyme or reason to AAA, indie in the per unit cost. Now, what this means for AAA companies is not that, they're making all this money to the detriment of indie titles. It's either they're clearing out older games or they do better per unit going back to the model of full price AAA games. I don't know if the numbers are large enough for them to take the hits on downloads, but yeah, if a big company is making less money per transaction than they would the old way, they're not going to see that as making a ton of money. So, my takeaway from this is not that indies are getting shafted and AAA companies are, running away with the store, but it's that this model, as I suspected, isn't really working terribly well for most games that are on the service. They're getting undercut on price. Now, that's not true, for a game like Thimbleweed Park that sells for less. Its sale price is less, and it made like $1 each. I think they're probably still not making the same profit as they would. Keep in mind, a markup for a AAA game is only between 5 and 15%. So the margins are already pretty low. They're not being greedy, and they're making less money here than they would the other way. Some indie games came out like bandits in this, whereas AAA games, Batman Arkham is already discounted at this point. But you know what I'm saying? This doesn't make sense to do an exclusive if these are the returns per transaction. And that is something that's going to have to be sorted out. The market will handle it. But this is something that's going to have to be sorted out. I don't see indies being shafted here. I see nobody. a couple people making out like fiends with $12 profits per unit, but most people not doing so great with this. Now, this is the one I was like, are you really going there, Kotaku? Please enjoy Epic's Tim Sweeney apologizing profusely to Ubisoft for fucking up. First of all, I just have to say, I don't think it's cool or cute anymore to put profanity in headlines in a site like Kotaku. Grow up. Use your words. I don't mind if it's in the body of the piece, but, you're one of the top sites. Don't talk like 15-year-olds trashing each other over Xbox Live. That's just my style point. I'm not saying it's morally wrong or anything like that. I just think you get better quality of writing out of people if you put some limits on what you do. But it's Kotaku. Kotaku could learn how to apologize better themselves. And I think it's odd that they're mocking Tim Sweeney for acting like a grown-up when his company made a mistake. It says that Kotaku hasn't learned much since the bad old days. And it's basically about Epic Games totally had a fraudulent transaction problem on The Division 2. It was approaching 90% fraudulent transactions. The average is 1% to 2%. He apologized to Ubisoft's Yves Guillemot for the mistake. The way adults and professionals do. And Kotaku finds this funny. Maybe take a bit and sit with that, Kotaku. But this is the one that really surprised me. Apple tries really hard to get Epic to admit there's porn on its store. Now, what this actually is something probably nobody cares about. The fact that Epic Games hosts, how do you pronounce it? Itch.io? The little indie game app that people can just put stuff up. itch.io. Itch.io? I don't know how this is pronounced. I've only seen it in text. But that service allows adult games on its service. Choice cuts like Horny Chronicles, Art and Waifu, Nightly Passions, things like that. The second half, Sisterly Lust. I personally, especially enjoy. Horny Chronicles is just, right on the nose, man, and it's a furry game. But, this seems to be what? What is the point? Is Kotaku trying to pretend to be pro porn games now? Because it ends, basically Epic is hosting Itch.io. That service allows adult games, so Apple's trying to say that Epic has porn on its store, which Apple does not allow. And then the article ends with, so there we go. That's all cleared up now. Apple's advertiser-sanitized sex work and LGBTQ unfriendly utopia is safe from scary indie titles like Horny Chronicles. Thank goodness. This is Kotaku saying this. Is Kotaku totally unaware of the content that it runs? Because I guarantee you, if enough people were aware of games like Horny Chronicles or Sisterly Lust, there would be some hot take on Kotaku about why it's terrible. I don't get why they're so openly and flagrantly treating readers like we're stupid and haven't seen other content. Because this is an opinion piece. This is news, right? They're embroidering it with opinion as if this is some site-wide, we like porn because we're sex positive. No, you're not. And this lack of self-awareness from, gaming websites like this is why Epic can take a gamble on a gamer-friendly approach. Now, its exclusives attempts early on did not go well for the indie titles that did the exclusive thing because people had issues with the Epic client. They felt that many indie titles broke their promise pre-launch to not have an exclusivity period, to have it funded on multi-platforms. Now, I have sympathy for those companies, because if a company like Epic comes along and offers you money to help you finish your game for a 6 months exclusivity period, it's very, very hard to say no to that. A lot of games end up, running over, really need that cash infusion late in the game or at any point in the game, making the game. Yeah, it went badly. I don't blame the people who were upset about the broken promise for being upset. I just really see both sides of that one. And maybe Epic will start paying a bit more so that, it hits that $3 mark. So it's still everybody wins, or somewhere around that, right? Like, it's one thing if in order to be fair, developers should be getting from their lump sum payment from Epic about what they made, per unit, selling it a la carte. Maybe Epic should do some bonus thing that if a game does especially well for them, they give the developer a little bit more money. Epic could do really well if they instituted fairness standards like that. If they're going to be the pro gamer company, that's something they'll have to go long game with and do things like free multiplayer. There's a story that they tried to get Xbox to go free multiplayer at the same time they were doing a big Fortnite price drop. Microsoft didn't do it. But they could, if Epic's strategy is to make boatloads of money being the preferred platform of choice for games like Fortnite that make tons and tons and tons of money and subsidize other gaming experiences for people, they could make a go on that as long as they're smart and back the right little piñata horses. I don't know what those things are called. I just know they're from Fortnite. Llamas? I think they're llamas. But they could do that, but they are going to have to be incredibly consistent and bring up those margins on the payment side, because gamers don't like seeing the game companies they love get screwed when they know about it. Now, this kind of analysis, this would be cool analysis to see alongside that big splash page of the Epic versus Apple trial coverage. But they're not doing that. They're doing stupid, piddly asides designed to get curiosity clicks, or using things like porn and dropping F-bombs. Again, for a long-term strategy, this isn't wise. If you're going to kind of mock Tim Sweeney for apologizing and, it's somehow so funny that he was asked to identify game consoles. Well, a big problem with video game executives is that they previously sold things like bleach and makeup and hair dye and household cleaning products and don't know fuck all about games. And Tim Sweeney is showing he knows sort of a basic thing about games. But where's the analysis of the actual trial? Where's somebody they could bring on as a legal consultant to explain what's going on? Where's the actual reporting about the thing, as opposed to all this piddly shit nonsense designed to generate clicks? I don't know. And we'll leave it there. Okay, thought you'd find that interesting. To me, the most interesting thing was the pay charts. And I would like to see much more on that, but I don't think we're going to get it because it doesn't seem like Kotaku recognized what they had there. Learning how to read statistics is kind of its own skill. Okay, if you like this sort of coverage, help support this channel. Become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K. Quick boss fight update now that I have the time. Okay, really quickly. Patreons. Check the Patreon update on Thursday. It will be very important. I'm telling you now, it will be very, very important for the thing we've been talking about for Boss Fight Episode 5. It is proceeding. It is proceeding profoundly slowly. It's a chicken and the egg problem of some things got to get done before I can do other things, and the early building is not as efficient as I would like it to be, just because sometimes that's the way it happens. 9 women can't make a baby in 1 month, right? I guess it's now 9 people can't make a baby in 1 month, but you know what I mean. So it is proceeding, but yes, there's something very, very special for patrons' participation in the episode, and the information about when it is happening is going to be this Thursday. Some people don't check their Patreon emails all the time. I know, I see the rates. So make sure you look out for this one. Thursdays are when patrons get the weekly updates, the special videos and stuff like that. Very, very important that you check it this time if you want to participate in the thing we've been talking about. Don't know what the thing is we're talking about? That's because you haven't been checking in. That's okay. No requirement, but I want to make sure everybody sees this one. Okay? Okay, awesome. Thanks for watching.